And now, your main event. Introducing the hosts of Wrestling with Freddie, Jeff Dye, and Freddie Prinze Jr.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Freddie. But today it's Wrestling with Friends, because with me is my great co-host, Mr. Jeff Dye, and he's back in his childhood homeland. Jeff, how are you today, sir?
Feeling good. It's good to be back in the 206. I finally get to wear my city on my head this week.
Are you throwing out any baseballs this week, or are they not letting you? Have you already thrown it there?
The Mariners are actually, that was the first ceremonial pitch I threw was for the Mariners,
cool.
But they're down in California, where I live now. So they left and I came back up. But
are they good this year? Are they whooping the Angels, or are they sorry?
We're very much middle of the pack. So we're not terrible and we're not good. It's just a very average kind of thing.
I'm a National League guy. I don't know much about the American League until the playoffs. I just know.
I know.
Oh, that guy can pitch because nobody can hit him.
There's also all these good Puerto Ricans in the league. You know, you got a lot of great baseball just in you.
I love baseball. I even did a baseball movie.
Summer Catch. Loved it.
I sucked at it as a kid. I wanted to be good, but I just couldn't friggin' hit, man. I just couldn't hit. I could throw it, but I just couldn't hit it. So I sucked at it. That's why I had to play a pitcher when I did a baseball movie, because my swing looks like Julio Franco's, minus the part where he would like hit it and crush it. Like
just the opening part where it's all
the opening part, and it just takes like a month for the bat to get to the ball, and so it's strike 1, 2, 3, and I'm only halfway through my first swing.
That's how I was growing up. Like literally, my coaches, and to anyone who knew me growing up, they'll vouch for this. I was incredible at fielding. I could catch everything. I was like Ray Ordonez, but I was also like Ray Ordonez in the fashion that I would go 0 for 4. I would strike out every at bat. I couldn't hit the ball to save my life. And my coaches are like, gosh, he fields better than everyone else, but he sucks at hitting. And that's important. So
Dodgers had a shortstop named Cesar Isturiz, and he could field like crazy, dude, and he was a switch hitter. But all the fans were like, switch hitter, he's batting like 211 from both sides of the plate, man. Like he could not get the ball out of the infield, and eventually they had to move on. But I liked Cesar a lot. All right, that's enough baseball. It's time to talk wrestling. We've either been had, or there was some good karma coming back towards one wrestler in particular, and I think it was just good karma. I don't think we've been had. I think the R-Truth release was real, or the contract being over was real. And I think they just came back to him and were like, yo, man, it's not ending like this. It's going to end like this. And they offered him a new contract. But either way, R-Truth is back, and he's back as Ron fucking Killings.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So he gets let go. All the wrestlers, all the fans revolt, using the internet for good, to say this is bull crap.
Happens once a year, yeah.
Yeah, and especially, but he was the strangest one because he was just in a PLE with John Cena. Like that's like the top of the mountain. Like, it was just a very strange firing. And then now that he's back, and they just put him right back in the fold. Now Triple H alludes to everyone that it was a work. Now everyone's revolting against that. Like it wasn't a work, and you shouldn't say that. And so it's very strange. Now I'm wondering if they're going to take it out on R-Truth, because everyone around him's talking about, like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't think anybody's going to take anything out on R-Truth. I mean, they just handed him more cash. So, he's going to be good. I don't, when it first happened, I was like, oh, that was smart, man. Like they told a really cool story there. And then I started hearing all this other stuff, that it wasn't a story, and that they didn't like the way it ended, and it was a fumble, and they wanted to recover the ball. And I heard that it was Nick Khan that recovered the ball, but I didn't hear that from anybody like special. That's just,
right.
I heard what everyone heard. Right.
Right.
And so I'm still kind of going back and forth on it. I haven't decided yet. Maybe we all got tricked, it's a great trick. If it was a trick, I'm not even mad at him.
My message to the wrestling fans is, listen, if he was released, and then Triple H righted his wrong by saying, hey, come back, we screwed this up. We shouldn't have let you go, Nick Khan or Triple H. If they said, hey, everybody loves you and we screwed up, like, here's the right amount of money and come back. We should be happy because they righted their wrong. Now, if it was a work, then we should be happy about that too, because
that's all I was going to say too. Yeah, that's all I was going to say too. It worked out either way. Yeah.
These wrestling fans are so like out for blood. Like, no, that's not what happened. You're a bunch of like celebrity gossip creeps at this point. Like, just relax.
I don't know if it's just wrestling fans that are. I just think people on the internet in general are out for blood, and it brings out, for the most part, a lot of bad things in our personalities that aren't attractive, that aren't sexy, that aren't cool. It brings out a lot of our uncoolness. Every once in a while, the internet does some good every once in a while. And there's definitely some people that remain positive on the internet as well. But for the most part, I've found, which is why I left, was it was bringing out like horrible things in people that I really liked. And I was just like, man, I'm starting to like dig you less and less, man. This is
right.
I got to get out of here. So I still love you. And so I think people are just hungry for blood. And a lot of this is people wanting, it's like the Star Wars universe, right? It's like YouTubers and TikTokers that are trying to make their own bones by talking about wrestling. And an easy and quick way to get people to pay attention to something you say is to say something foul and mean and gross and absurd. And that gets, the most. Guys like me that don't do that too much, we don't get aggregated as much because I don't say like, the dirty, sexy stuff. I just kind of say how I feel about it. And if I don't like something, I don't really talk about it that much. So I think a lot of it is just people in general doing that. Wrestling fans just happen to be lumped into everybody. That's all. We're all human beings, man. No, nobody's that freaking great. I'm sure even Mother Teresa had some off days where she was like, motherfucker, get away from me right now.
No, Freddie, don't say that about
yeah,
Mother.
I bet
She's
she
earned
did. I'm a recovering Catholic. I'm allowed to say that. All right, let's talk some wrestling, dude. Look, people, I'm not going to lie to you. We made you some money, especially if you wanted
not
to
me.
bet. Hey, man, you got the Becky Lynch one. But if you were betting, you know to roll with me. You know to roll with producer Alex. If you need a long shot, a dark horse, then you're going to roll with Jeff. But those are risks. You're going in knowing the risks, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, Jeff.
You're going to bet big and lose big.
That's right. But
win big bet and lose big.
There you go. So first up, dude, and we'll do these in order. The women's Money in the Bank match. I don't know how long they got because they did. I think everybody got like 30 friggin' minutes, it felt like, because there were so few matches. We went into this with a curious fixation on Naomi, at least producer Alex and I, based on the segment she had, the match she had, the way she won, what happened to her before, kind of getting beat up and then coming out strong at the end. And all of a sudden, I said this on the show, I was like, yo, I think Naomi's going to friggin' win this thing. And we brought that weird feeling, right? We brought it to the show. And I think Jeff wanted to go with us on this, but freaking Naomi is going to be a world champion. It'll be just in time probably for Bianca Belair to come after her ass, and then once her hand gets better. I don't know how quickly they're going to do this, but it feels like they've gone real long on these Money in the Bank runs, like so long that Jeff doesn't even like it. He'll be like, man, just freaking cash in. I think this is going to be a quick one. And I think she's going to cash in much, much sooner than later and be champ just in time for Bianca to get healthy, and then they can have an awesome run. Or maybe a Jade Cargill versus Naomi if Jade Cargill wins Queen of the Ring, which I think she's geared up and ready to do now. So they can do two really, really cool matches because they already have a built-in story with those three women. And Naomi's doing sick shit on the mic, man. Like I think she can handle this moment. I'm really excited for her. I know you wanted your girl Stephanie Vaquer to win. She still looked great out there. But how did you feel about Naomi becoming Miss Money in the Bank? Or Mrs. She's married.
Yeah, I know you said, I wanted to go with you guys on that, but like, I don't know if I did necessarily. Like, I think that if it's not that wanted or predicted, really. I really dropped this one as far as like, I think if you'd have had me pick in order, like if we'd have said, all right, we got these 5 wrestlers, which one do you think will win. Okay, now if she doesn't, who do you think will win next? I think Naomi would have been probably the last one I would have chose.
Wow. Okay, so I'm way off on. I thought I was convincing you when we did it last week.
Well, you were making great arguments, and Naomi is probably doing her best work. But I don't know.
You didn't think the company believes in her. That's what it is.
That's really, I think that's maybe what it is. Yeah, I don't think
because they never have. They've never given her a real story before. They've never given her a real push before. It's always just been like, hey, here's Naomi, do your thing, put on a good match, don't screw up, and that's kind of it.
I would love to hear every listener's comments and replies to what I'm about to say. Am I super off base? Because I'm not that attached to what I'm about to say, but maybe I could be convinced. I'm so tired of the Money in the Bank being so such a big wrestler that wins. Like when it comes to championships, I think wrestlers are able to kind of predict who wins because, you got to go with who's over and you got to go with who deserves it. And you got to go with who is like a star, like an A-list. You don't get a lot of surprises. Like they're not tomorrow on Raw just going to put the championship on Penta. No matter how, like, we just know that's not going to happen. And so because it's not going to happen, it means we can kind of predict what will happen with that.
That's a good point.
We can at least predict what won't happen. Whereas with the Money in the Bank, like I'd like to see that not be someone as famous as Seth Rollins or someone not as much of a veteran as Naomi. So I wish that they wouldn't make the Money in the Bank winners such famous and over wrestlers. This is like one where they could use unpredictability, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Now, am I wrong, everyone? I'd love to know everyone's take on that because I'm not that attached to it.
I'm not everyone, but I don't know if you're wrong. I think there's something to that. And I wish I was more of a historian, and I could go back and recall like every Money in the Bank winner to see if maybe they tried that in the past and maybe they felt it didn't work. So that's why they switched to this way. But I would like to see a fresh face win it as well to see what could happen for them in their career. I would say this though, they sort of did that with Naomi because I don't think the Naomi pick was predictable. I think they gave her some story and I was hoping that I was right, but I wasn't certain I was right because I'd never seen them give her a push before. And since she's never gotten a push, how over could she be? You know what I mean? Sure. It's just this one recent storyline that they've given her in the last 6-7 months where she's been able to kind of showcase not only what she can do in the ring, but what her acting chops look like too, in playing this darker character, bringing tears to her face multiple times without using any tricks, without using any menthol rubs or any of that. Like she's finding a vulnerable place, man, which is hard to fucking do. And respect to any actor and performer that can pull that off. So I think maybe in this short amount of time, they've seen a lot in her, and that's what is now them giving her the push. But I still feel like the pick wasn't as predictable as, say, the men's match, where everybody knew who was going to win that one.
Sure.
But I think there's something to what you're saying. I don't think you're crazy. You're not off base, bro. You're on base.
I just think maybe we should, in wrestling, find something that we can all go, like the 24-hour championship. I know that was like a silly kind of fun thing.
Yeah.
But at least you couldn't predict the 24-hour, 24/7 belt.
I wouldn't have the guts to make a prediction. That's how off I would be.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I wish there was something in wrestling, and maybe the Money in the Bank could be a good opportunity to just have something where we go, hey, whether you hate it or love it, you never know what's going to happen with that. And I think that would be.
I'll give the 24/7 championship this. There was one title change that sticks in my head, and so for that it worked. But it was when they were on the golf course with R-Truth, and I think it was Carmella, and Truth was the champ, and Jinder just runs onto the golf course in tights with a referee and pins R-Truth. Hilarious. Gets it. Truth gets up, knocks him over, pins him, gets in the golf cart and drives away. And I was like, yo, what the fuck am I watching?
Amazing.
What just happened right now? And it made me laugh.
There was a chapter of 205 Live. Like I was very much into the cruiserweight division is what I called it, but it was the 205 Live program where you really didn't know. Like Enzo Amore would just win the belt, and then the next like 3 weeks later, Kalisto won, and like it was kind of like exciting. You're like, we should watch this because it's not going to be a 205 live pay-per-view. They'd have matches for the 205, but I was like, it was truly exciting, and you didn't really know. Nobody was a mega superstar over at 205 Live. So it just
a lot
made
of
things
opportunity for them. Yeah, a lot of
it was
opportunity
fun.
for different guys to get a shot. Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, this one I was wrong. Although I kind of knew I was going to be wrong going in, and I think I might have even said if she's going to win dirty. So if you had a prop bet, I helped you win that. But otherwise, I lost you guys money on this one. You should have listened to Jeff. He knows what's up. Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Jeff's philosophy was sound. It's the only belt she doesn't have. She wants to have all the belts at one point. It's a cool accolade in your Hall of Fame career. Already a Hall of Famer. Becky Lynch wins, and she made Lyra Valkyria raise her hand in praise. And then Lyra was like, man, fuck this, and hit her with the suplex, which was kind of cool. So she didn't have to totally.
She's like, I'm being a good sport, and this feels icky.
Yeah. So if you bet with Jeff, and I think most of you did because you guys knew what was up, you guys won money. If you bet with me, I'm sorry. I lost you the house. I lost you the college fund. But I'm coming back. I'm coming back with the rest of them. It's been brought to my attention that I was not incorrect on the Becky Lynch-Lyra Valkyria match, that I was right, as always.
Isn't it fun?
Pick Becky. It's fun being right.
No, you got corrected to tell you that you were correct. They go, no.
That's right.
You were right. And that feels good.
Yeah, no teacher ever did that to me. I promise you that much.
No, you're incorrect about being correct.
That's right. The men's Money in the Bank match.
Yes.
This match had L.A. Knight, who forgot that Seth Rollins was even in the match in one of his backstage promos. And that's why he got beat down on Friday Night SmackDown when they all came out. Andrade, who got all the way to the top of the ladder multiple times and took some huge hellacious falls. Penta in his first Money in the Bank match. You can't win your first time in, although that would be sick. Like Jeff's saying, it would be kind of crazy if Penta just went in there and won it, like when they had Shinsuke win the Royal Rumble. That was kind of awesome. Solo Sikoa. I don't think anyone had Solo picked, especially after he talked shit about Jacob Fatu backstage, and Fatu just comes out after they leave and he's like, what the hell did you just say? Did you call me stupid? He didn't say that. That was the look that he gave you with those sweet shaved eyebrows. And we had Seth Rollins, who everybody picked to win this match. He made a promise that he was going to keep. And we had El Grande Americano, not Chad Gable. He did not qualify for Money in the Bank, but Grande did. Grande used the head plate. Grande, it would have been kind of sick if I texted you guys, it would be kind of crazy if Grande won this thing and got like.
I'd have been so happy.
It would have been the coolest push ever. Like Chad Gable doesn't get the push, but Grande Americano does.
It'd be amazing.
And then you could play into that where Gable's like pissed off, like, son of a bitch, this guy's taking all my opportunities. And he could totally play off of himself, which I thought would have been really funny. But no. The winner was Seth Rollins, our producer, Alex, United States veteran, always knows what's up in wrestling, always makes the sound picks, almost always. He's like a 99%er. And we both picked Seth. And Jeff went with his heart, you guys. He went all heart, and he wasn't going to be swayed in his opinion. And he went L.A. Knight, which I thought was kind of crazy. And I don't think anybody went with him unless you're just a diehard Jeff Dye fan and you're like, no, whatever he picks, that's what I pick. Well, then y'all lost. But Jeff, explain yourself and explain your choosing of LA Knight, who there's no way you knew was going to win. You just hoped.
I just hoped. Yeah. When I knew it wasn't going to happen? When Pat McAfee started reenacting the Money in the Bank briefcase grab with the toys at the side of the ring. He starts going, and then he's going to climb the rope. Pat McAfee's got LA Knight toy. and he's reaching for the money. Then I go, oh, this is
he just gave away my finish.
Yeah, Pat McAfee, you screwed it up. And he was like, Pat McAfee, he's too strong now to play with toys, so he's like breaking the Money in the Bank thing that's holding the bells. Going, jeebers, man. And then I was like, well, guess what they're gonna do? They'll give it to Seth for the second time because he's the most famous wrestler like in wrestling. He's doing his peak prime work. Like, I'll say it right here. Seth Rollins is in his prime.
Yeah.
And I hope that it just continues. But like, bro is doing his best work. And then he also gets the Money in the Bank. You're like, all right.
Here's what's even crazier. I totally agree with everything you just said. Seth Rollins is in his prime.
Awesome. He's doing
his
so good.
work is top shelf, never been better. And they gave him Money in the Bank. And here's one more. And they gave him Paul freaking Heyman.
Yeah.
He didn't even need Paul Heyman. He can talk damn near just as good as Paul Heyman. And they're like, here, take this too. Oh, and now you get Braun Breaker, this awesome stud who you're going to help make and build. And eventually he's going to slay you and you're going to be the dragon. And then you're also going to get Bronson Reed, this huge friggin' heater that can kill anybody. Like, we're going to give you and here's a Ferrari too, by the way, just because.
Right. Yeah, here's a helicopter.
Yeah, we're going to helicopter you into all your matches. It's going to be great. So we knew Seth was going to win. The promise was kept. There's another promise that we need to talk about.
Wait, before you get to that, I was going to say, I read a thing. So this isn't like my prediction or anything, but I read this interesting thing that they have a nice opportunity with Seth winning the Money in the Bank to repeat what he did last time. The way he ran in and pinned at WrestleMania to win the belt. Like, they have a nice opportunity to do that. And then this will link him to Roman Reigns. So we could kind of get like a Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins feud.
That would be good to see them beef again. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so when I read that, then I was like way more optimistic and way more excited that Seth got the Money in the Bank. Because I was like just sitting there going, this guy, dude. Because I'm maybe a little more old school about the Money in the Bank. Like, he doesn't need it. Give it to a guy to get a push. But like, this is a good argument against what I was thinking about, like whether someone needs it or not. Like, let's just think about the story, Jeff. The story could be good if you give it to this person. It's not about who needs it. So I'm optimistic after hearing that they might have a chance to repeat that old story.
Yeah, I like that. And they're using it as a plot driving piece, not just, I can cash in whenever. Like, it was his story. That was his means to gain control. So they kept that promise, which was cool. And this is the only one I didn't really care about. This is the only match I was like, yeah, okay, I'll watch, but whatever. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, the champ, Jey Uso. Sorry, I didn't mean to not put the respect on it. Versus Logan Paul and the last real champ, John Cena. This was where we got the return of R-Truth. He came in not just in a hoodie, but a hoodie and a mask, so you couldn't even tell right away. It was an awesome reveal. And the winners were Cody and Jay with the help of Mr. Ron Killings. Now, my philosophy on this was John Cena can only lose the match where the title's not on the line. So this is the match that John Cena is going to lose until he has his final match where he doesn't get to bring the title and ruin it for everybody, but someone gets to save it. That someone will probably be Cody Rhodes. We picked them. Jeff picked Cena and Logan because, again, sometimes Jeff goes heel, man. And you have heelish tendencies, and you need to explain yourself, or you don't, because you're a heel, and heels don't explain themselves. I don't know.
Well, this is a Star Wars, Sometimes I tap into my dark side. Sometimes I'm a sweet Jedi boy.
Well, Star Wars would argue that there's a gray Jedi, and the gray Jedi get to do whatever they want. Jeff, they get mad at me for that all the time. They're like, Freddie, it's not so black and white, okay? The gray Jedi can tap into both. I'm like, all right, bros. You don't have to read all.
Like, they made that up. They made up the grade.
But anyway, we got the return of R-Truth. We got all that. There was an impromptu match where Dirty Dom, who this show has been in love with long before the rest of you, while all of you were booing him and not even letting the man speak. You didn't even let him get a word in. You've missed out on hours of tantalizing and beautiful dialogue that he could have enraptured the WWE universe with, and instead you didn't get any of it. And I've been waiting. I've been waiting for it, but I can't hear it either. But this show loved Dom before you. Always remember that. Dominic fought Triple A's Octagon Jr. We would have got this right as well because we would have picked Dominic Mysterio to win the belt. So we would have made you money there. You know we would have. Don't lie. Now, we're going to move on to a little AEW action and give you guys some love. And there's not too much story going on in AEW except the main one, which is for the AEW championship. And we had Tony Schiavone. He opened the show and he brought out Will Ospreay. And I'm so glad that Will is in AEW and not WWE because we need promos that can stand on their own in both companies. And there's only a couple guys in AEW that I really think promos can like kind of stand alone and stand apart. MJF's had a handful of them. Will Ospreay's had like 3 or 4 of them. And a couple other guys have had some solid ones. CM Punk had some good ones when he was there too. MJF, the best one, the LA pipe bomb one was probably his, or the one where he talked about being Jewish in a high school and the guys throwing quarters at him, and then you feel so bad for him, and all of a sudden he just kicks Punk in the balls and then beats him up. Dude, that was fucking great. And Sami Zayn's had some on the WWE side. Obviously, Seth Rollins has had some. I feel Jey Uso's had some of those moments. Jeff disagrees on that one for sure. But even Cody and John Cena lately have had some solid promos, and it's good that they can compete like that, and not one show has all the dudes that can talk and one show has all the dudes that can wrestle. So Ospreay came out and he talked his ass off, and he talked about, I'd take a bullet for you, Swerve, but I'll take a bullet for AEW first. So fuck you. We're going to fight because I don't trust your ass. I'm going to beat your ass into submission and make you team up with me and make you be a part of this, because if I can't trust you, then you're against me. Even though we're bros, not anymore. So they've got a sweet fight set up, but the promo was super, super solid. And I love Will Ospreay, man. I know everybody loves Will Ospreay. Freddie, we all love him. Look, his wrestling's great, but I don't know how to do any of those moves. So I can't talk about his wrestling. I know how to fucking act. And when I see someone else that can do it and can be vulnerable and get their own side of the story out and communicate naturally and organically, and it doesn't look rehearsed and fake, that's something that I really fucking respect. And he's one of those guys that can do it. And you can tell he's not scripted. He's gone over what he wants to say in his head, I'm sure, and in front of a mirror or to his bros or to his wife, whoever he practices his shit with, maybe practices alone like me. But when he comes out there and just delivers it, it's awesome, and it's awesome every time. I'm not saying he's MJF, but he's different. He's different. He's a hero that you can believe in. I don't really want to see him as a heel. He has to become one day, because I really love babyface Will Ospreay. I think he always says the right thing. He always does the right thing. And he hopes for wrestling. He brings a lot of hope to wrestling. If you talk shit on him, he'll sting you a little bit too. Triple H learned that. And so has anybody else that's kind of stepped to him. So I just really like this dude. I love that he's in AEW. I'm really glad. I like both brands. So I know some of you guys are like, no, yes, no, but I dig both. So I talk both when they do stuff that I think is compelling. And this segment I thought was compelling. Do you think Ospreay is next in line? Do you think he doesn't have to be in line? Do you like the story that he's in? Do you think he's full of shit because the story sucks? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I think Ospreay literally is inarguably one of the best in American wrestling, if you will, or like pro wrestling. But he doesn't have the body of work yet to back it. And also I'm wondering if he regrets, because I mean, everybody wanted Will Ospreay, right? Like, he had the choice of his picks. He could go to WWE or he could go to AEW. Both of those companies would have made an offer for him. And I think when he came to AEW, he was very had a chip on his shoulder, like, see that, Triple H?
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm the best, so I'll go where. And it was such a big deal. We were talking about it. Everyone was talking about Will Ospreay being in AEW and the travel schedule that he was about to have, and the way he chirped back at Triple H, and the way he made it sound like he went to the superior company and all that stuff. I always wonder now if he regrets that. Is he watching Money in the Bank the way we are and going, man, this could have been, because think about it. Ricky Starks is over in WWE now.
Well, he's in NXT, but yeah.
Mariah, that's a WWE product. Mariah May's over there. They're all making the voyage back to WWE. we don't even cover AEW as much as we used to, just because right now WWE's winning this battle. And I always think to myself, Will Ospreay is inarguably a phenomenal wrestler and a great on the mic. Like, he is a star. But I'm wondering if he wonders that he maybe bet on the wrong horse, you know? Like, I'm wondering if MJF.
I think we all live with regret, right? So it just depends on how he looks at it. I mean, he may look at it as the superior brand because he's there trying to make it superior, right?
Sure.
And I think all wrestlers probably watch other wrestlers' matches and go, wow, that's sick, I'm going to use that, or wow, that's sick, I can't wait to call him, or wow, I wish I was there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think there's probably some opportunity for truth, but I don't know if he's there. I mean, I certainly, as I've gotten older, I look back and I go, oh yeah, I regret that choice, or I used to regret that choice, but I don't anymore. Now I'm kind of proud of it. Like, so I think just as we age, it's kind of a natural vibe, but I think he's still in the honeymoon process. So it's too soon for regret in the honeymoon process. You have to wait till it's like 3 years, and then you're like, wait, did I marry the right chick?
Right.
Or is she absolutely fucking crazy? Like, I think every dude goes through that at some point, but never during the honeymoon. During the honeymoon, it's like, this is amazing. It's going to be like this every day. It's not, fellas. It takes work. You got to put it in, just like professional wrestling. Marriage is exactly like professional wrestling. The men are the baby face and the women are the heels. And don't ever forget it, boys. So aggregate that. That would be the first aggregatable worthy thing I've ever said. Anyway, you guys, Jeff, tell the people where you're going to, I know where you're at, but tell the people where you're going to be.
I am going to be in New York City for the next 2 nights, and then I go to La Jolla, the La Jolla Comedy Store. I'm very excited. I also have on June 19th, I am headlining for the first time ever, the Hollywood Comedy Store main room. So,
hell yeah. Congratulations, dude. That's badass.
Jeff Dye and friends, get your tickets for that June 19th at the world famous Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard.
Comedy Store, for those of you who don't know, is world famous. It's one of the greatest comedy clubs that's ever existed. My dad used to rock it there back in the 70s. I've seen Richard Pryor rock it there. I've seen Jerry Seinfeld rock it there back in the day, and he would just park in the fire lane and take the ticket because he didn't give a fuck. He had this sweet Porsche, and I would see him. I used to go to the comedy clubs all the time, Improv, Comedy Store, and the Laugh Factory. And he would literally always park in the red fire lane. He would always get a ticket, and he never even looked at it. He's just like, whatever, dude. I've got $1 billion. And just take off down Sunset Boulevard. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. No Thursday show this week. You got it all in this episode. We squished it all in one tasty episode for you. I hope you enjoyed it. On behalf of Jeff Dye. Oh, it's not on behalf of Jeff Dye because Jeff has a call sign that he calls off to. So I'm not going to say on behalf of Jeff Dye. I'm going to say I'm Freddie saying goodbye. And here's Jeff.
We out.